Hey fun fans, welcome back to FRC Forecast. I'm your host Angel, bringing you the latest for FRC REEFSCAPE Week 3. Before we jump into our predictions, let's take a look back on our featured events and see how our correspondents did. Congratulations to Danny for having the most accurate forecast out of all featured events. Now, let's get right into FRC Week 3 predictions.
This video on FUN is brought to you by our viewers, supporters, members, and also in partnership with the following. AndyMark provides superior service with the reliability that teams expect. Check out their sport gearbox and ratchet sport options to their tried and true compliant wheels used by teams all over the world. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to andymark.com for your one-stop shop of high quality and affordable solutions. Build your alliance with so many other FIRST alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information.
All right, our first group of forecasts takes us to the U.S. Northeast, where we have Ari, who will be covering our feature event, the New England District URI event, as well as the New England Western event and the Pine Tree District event. We then move over to Steve, who will be covering the Finger Lakes Regional, and Jeff will be covering the FMA Robbinsville event and the FMA Springside Chestnut Hill event.
Thanks, Angel. Let's get into the New England District. New England has had such a high ceiling this year, and the level of play has just grown exponentially better over the last year. And seeing what these robots do in Week 1 and 2 was really exciting. But getting into Week 3, a lot of these robots are taking to the field for some the second time, some the first. But we're really going to see an evolution of play this week. And I'm very excited to see what happens here. So we have a lot of New England teams competing this week. 54% of teams in New England are competing this week. And it's just going to be a blast. I think that we're going to see so many things evolve this week. And it's going to be really cool. For our highlighted event, we're headed over to the University of Rhode Island to look at a great set of teams that'll really showcase what this game is about. Our lock for this event is going to be Team 190, Gompy and the Herd. You've heard us talking about them on this show for weeks now. They came out at Week 0 and absolutely stomped the competition with their goat hooves. They looked so finished, so polished, even for a Week 0 event. They were so fantastic in auto, and seeing them evolve from that Week 0 competitive robot into a Week 1 competitive machine was phenomenal. So I am so excited to see what they are going to bring to Week 3. They've had the time to now practice, to hone in what they're doing in programming, and that robot, who was already ranked in our top 25, is going to just evolve into this machine that is an absolute powerhouse. I'm very excited to feature 190 here. They've had just such a great trajectory upwards over the last few years. The robot they built last year was pretty good. They were a 4th robot, made Einstein, and now this year they have just turned it up a notch. I'm so excited to see them this weekend. Our first contender is going to be Team 1768, Neshoba Robotics. And they are looking for the back-to-back. They won URI last year with a so solid sharpshooter robot, and they're looking to come back from that. They looked pretty good Week 1. They looked a little shaky, a little unpracticed, but now that they've had the time, they've had the robot, they've been through an event, they know what's going to go wrong, you can expect them to be a lock here. They're really going to be able to, if anyone, take down 190. Or pair up with them, who knows. Our second contender at this event is going to be Team 1699, the RoboCats. 1699 built the perfect robot for their team last year. They built Simple, it was their first year with Swerve, and they built a robot that absolutely dominated at competitions. It was one of the most consistent robots in New England this year. Their Open Alliance build thread this year has looked fantastic. They're just doing incrementally more this year, where they've got the Swerve, they've got the elevator, and they've also got this really cool looking differential arm that can place Coral on all levels. They're not doing algae, that's okay. They don't have to, they're going to build within their means, and they're going to be really good. I'm excited to see them premiere their robot this week. Our last contender for this event is going to be Team 1153, the Timberwolves. 1153 was so cool to watch at Week 0. They had such an interesting design that I hadn't seen before. They shoot algae to score it in the net. which is going to be very important at this event because you have teams that are starting to evolve and be really good at Coral. I think we're going to see that Coral RP more than a few times. They're going to be a standout here because they've had time. They had a working robot at week 0, and now they've had all the way up until week 3 to get that thing tuned in. 1153, famously, most amount of finalists for a team. They are looking for a win. They've been looking for a win for so long, and this could be the event. They could be the pick, and I would really, really enjoy that for them. Our dark horse for the event is going to be Team 1740, the Cyber Colonels. 1740 had the most consistent 4-note auto in Connecticut last season. They have great programming, and the reveal video was so cool this year. I think that they are the only team that has a theme song consistently every year, and that was really interesting to watch. They have some of the best programming, and I expect them to be able to line up with the Reef and easily deliver Coral to it. So definitely the teams to watch coming up for University of Rhode Island. In addition to URI, we also have the Western New England event this weekend. Our lock for this event is going to be Team 176. 176 always starts a little rocky. They need time to tune in their robot to the competition field. The competition field is going to be different than their practice field at home. And Waterbury was that event for them. They had a little bit of a rocky start in quals. They were only putting up a few every time. They had mechanical issues, they had programming issues, they had Kraken issues, all sorts of things. And then they got it down in, finals. And I feel like we're finally going to see the potential of what 176 can do, starting at this event at Western New England. Be sure to look out for them. And finally in New England, we have the Pine Tree District. Lots of teams from up north are going to be showing off their stuff, but mostly we're going to be watching the second time outing for Team 6329, the Bucks Wrath. Consistently one of the top EPA teams in the world, Bucks Wrath has put on an absolute clinic this year on how to do Coral and how to do those super cycles with the algae. They're definitely the team to watch this weekend, not only because they're one of the greatest teams in the world, but this is their second event. They're going to want to show off what they've learned from their first event, what they've changed, and how they're going to evolve the game. Definitely an event to pay attention to.
It's week 3 in the Empire State, so let's take a look at the Finger Lakes Regional, where 54 teams will be battling it out for the Blue Banner in Rochester, New York. At the top of the leaderboard going into this week's event, it's going to be 3015 Ranger Robotics, the geniuses behind the popular Path Planner automation software. They're looking to cement their 4th win at this particular event with their robot Orangey Porangey. Yes, I just said Orangey Porangey. But they're not going to be the only ones hungry for the win, with a solid pool of contenders at this event, including previous winners such as 5191 Grease Gladiators, 1787 the Flying Circuits, and 4611 Ozone. For Dark Horse, I'm picking Team 340 GRR Greater Rochester Robotics. This 08 team practices at the same facility as 3015 and is showing a lot of promise with their vision automated Coral scoring. Good luck to everybody in Rochester this weekend.
All right, here comes the forecast for the 2025 Robbinsville FMA District event. First up, our lock team, Team 2590 Nemesis. The event's host team, Nemesis, took a finalist medal at Hatboro and is looking to take it one step higher in their hometown this weekend. For our contenders, first contender is going to be Team 1676, the Pascack Pioneers. This is their first play, but 1676 has been a solid FMA contender for several years now. Next contender, Team 1923, the Midnight Inventors. The students on Midnight fielded a very consistent Coral scoring machine at Hatboro in Week 1, and they show no signs of slowing down. Final contender, Team 3314, the Mechanical Mustangs. 3314 follows the same pattern recently, where they play out of district to get warmed up this year in Maine, then hit FMA like a hurricane, and it's been working well for them so far over the past few seasons. Our dark horse is going to be Team 3340, the Union City Magna Geeks. 3340 had a finals appearance last weekend in Mount Olive, and they are an ideal pick due to their endgame focused archetype. Best of luck to all the teams competing in Robbinsville this weekend. Okay, here we go. The forecast for the Springside Chestnut Hill FMA 2025 district event. First, our lock team, Team 341 Miss Daisy. Daisy checks all the boxes for a banner run. You've got ground intake, consistent Coral scoring, and a drive team that has already won a final series this season. For our contenders, our first contender is going to be Team 2539, the Krypton Cougars. Krypton captained the Championship Alliance from the 1 seed at Hatboro in Week 1 this year and shows no signs of slowing down. Our next contender is going to be Team 1218, SCH Robotics. The host team for this event, SCH captained the number 5 Alliance, making it all the way to Elim's Match 10 at Hatboro this week in Week 1 as well. Our final contender, Team 1168, Malvern Robotics. Malvern had a very strong showing in Week 1 and has had time to repair and improve. Finally, our dark horse, Team 5181, Explorers Robotics. 5181 comes equipped with a robot heavily inspired by the WCP competitive concept. They could be the perfect partner to complete a well-rounded alliance. Good luck to all the teams competing in Springside Chestnut Hill this weekend.
Thanks, everyone. Now we head over to the U.S. Southeast, where we have Griffin, who will be covering our first featured event, the CHS Severn MD event, as well as the CHS Bethesda MD event. Then we'll take it over to Evan, who will be covering our second featured event, the first North Carolina UNC Asheville event, as well as the Wake County event. Then we'll head over to James, who will be covering the PCH Gwinnett event, as well as the Tallahassee Regional.
Chesapeake has been on fire these past 2 weeks, and while the number 1 seeds have dominated each event, you can expect there to start to be a deeper pool for the coming events as we start to see more and more people learn and grow from their previous competitions and increase drive practice. This week we are staying in the mighty MD as we have both the Severn event and the Bethesda event, both sporting 29 teams, which means the teams at these events have little margin for error, as the matches can get cramped and repetitive in allies and opponents. Starting off in Severn, this event has a lot of players looking to build upon their performances in Week 1 and 2, and while many teams have this as their first event, you should definitely be keeping an eye out for many major surprises to happen, as normally does in Chesapeake. My lock to do well at this event is Glen Allen finalist 2106 Junkyard Dogs. While the 2106 just came short of the win, they showed how strong their robot can be, boasting a very fast and consistent 2-coral auto, fast and consistent coral scoring, and the ability to score in the barge directly. These dogs are hounding for a win, and feel it time to show they have some bite with their bark. As my first contender, I'm picking Glen Allen winner 449 Blair Robot Project. 449 has continued their streak of being one of the best scoring robots in the district, absolutely demolishing the reef with the amount of coral scored. While their averages show them as an impressive score, they have a little more room for error with their narrow intake and inability to score and consistently remove algae. However, if they're able to pair with a good algae bot, expect 449 to craft another blue banner for the season. Next on my contender list is 1727 Rex. Much like 2106, they were one of the top dogs at their first event, Pasadena, only falling short to the eventual winner and the number 1 seed. However, what 1727 thrives in is versatility. With multiple auto pass from various locations and a high value coral scorer on top of that, you can expect them to be up there fighting for the top spot this weekend. My last contender is another Pasadena finalist, 888 Robotiators. After pairing up with 1727 and making their finals run, 888 showed off the value of their consistency and prowess in coral scoring. Even though they may not be the fastest in scoring coral, 888 will always be up there with a consistent amount and climbing as they dial in practice time. My dark horse spot goes to our rookie all-star of Glen Allen, 10224 Mav Mechanics. If I had met this team for the first time without knowing their number, I would have thought they were a long-standing veteran team. Boasting a scrappy yet capable robot, Mav placed 8th overall, becoming the 6th seed captain. While the robot has some kinks and bumps along the way, this hybridized algae and coral bot on Mechanim, yes, you heard me right, Mechanim drivetrain is looking to learn from their first event and grow exponentially for this showing at Severn. So be ready to see them compete and fight for their spot at DCMP. Over at Bethesda, we look at the field and find that while similar in number of teams, the stats of teams don't measure as well as their counterparts in Severn. The clear lock for the event is Glen Allen winner 1731 Preston Valley Robotics, but with a lack of teams having previously competed this year, we're going into an unknown field at this point. With what information I was able to gather, the strongest contenders seem to be Versatile Lobot 614 Nighthawks, Rising All-Star of Pasadena 8590 Cavbotics, and consistent Coralbot 3373 Team Robohawk. One to definitely keep an eye on as a potential dark horse is 8230 Koibots, as a team whose creativity and enthusiasm has slowly seen them grow over the years. And with sneak peeks of their robot, Koibots show potential for having a bot ready to be their namesake and keep on swimming through REEFSCAPE.
It's time to head over to the Blue Ridge Mountains for the FNC Asheville event. This event is going to be without a doubt one of the most interesting events, as it is with only 22 teams, the smallest in the state, and maybe even the smallest event in the country. There are a lot of teams attending this event that have always performed really well. So while there's only 22 teams, it will pack a punch. We have one guest team from PCH joining us here. My lock for this event is none other than Team 9496 Link. This is a team that has had an incredibly successful rookie year. They've already competed once this year at the PCH Gainesville event, in which they ranked number 1 and won that event. They have a wicked fast robot that is incredibly good at Coral, and they likely have new mechanisms in the works for Asheville. With the highest EPA out of any NC team so far, I believe that they are set up to have a very successful season this year, and they are a lock for Asheville. My first contender for this event is Team 8727 Glitch 2.0. A team based in Asheville, North Carolina. They had a very successful season last year, making it all the way to Worlds. They were a strong team last year, and their performance at Catawba shows that they are keeping that trend going. While they did not rank very high, they were second pick of the event. Their robot is very fast at Coral, and they have what appears to be an algae intake for the processor. Without defense, their robot is incredibly quick, and they may give Link a run for their money. As the first pick of the second Alliance last weekend, they are showing themselves to be a serious contender at Asheville. My next contender is Team 3506 Yeti Robotics. Yeti is a team that has consistently played well, however they usually hit their stride around DCMP. They ranked 8th in Newton at Worlds, and I am excited to see how they perform. The robot appears to have functionality for almost every part of the game. With an archetype very similar to 1690, I'm curious to see how well they are able to use it. They have a deep climb and a claw for Coral, but I'm not sure if they have any algae capability. While there are more unknowns with Yeti than other teams on this list, since they have not competed yet, I'm confident they will be a contender at Asheville. My final contender is Team 1533 Triple Strange. They are one of the oldest teams in North Carolina, and they are usually one of the top teams in the state. After not doing quite as well last year, they are looking to really step up their game this year. At the FNC Catawba County event, they performed rather well, being the first pick of the 4th Alliance. Their archetype is different than most teams, as their entire robot is built around an elevator on a pivot. As they have mechanisms for Coral as well as algae, and a deep climb, they are able to play every part of the game. With this archetype and some tuning, I think they can be a serious contender at Asheville. My dark horse for this event is Team 3196 Spork. This is an older team that has really stepped up their game in the past few years. They had a very simple robot that was very effective last year. With their first event being this one, I'm very bullish on their performance, and I think we'll see them perform well. If they can keep up the idea of being simple yet effective, I think they could be a great alliance partner at UNC Asheville. The FNC Wake County event is traditionally one of the most competitive events in North Carolina. It is also one of the biggest district events. This event is a week 3, but there's a really high share of teams that have not competed yet. My lock for this event is the traditionally strong team 2642, the Pit Pirates. My contenders for this event are teams 4795 Eastbots, 900 the Zebracorns, and team 8738 Slice. My dark horse for this event is Team 9032 Robo Wheels, as they had a really high-performing robot last year, even though they took a while to really get into the groove. I think they have a really good chance at ranking high, performing well, and being a great alliance partner.
Next up, we're going to be talking about the PCH District Gwinnett event. And to nobody's surprise, our lock is Team 1771 North Gwinnett Robotics, the hometown team and perennial PCH District favorite. Sliding in to lead our contenders will be Team 1883 Team Bean, who already has a finalist appearance this year, and fellow contender will be their alliance partner from that event, Team 1683 the Techno Titans. Rounding out our contenders is Team 3318 the Robo Dragons, and our dark horse for this event will be Team 7451
Avenger Robotics. Avenger Robotics had an early exit from their first event, but they have a solid robot and can make a deep run at Gwinnett. Next up, we'll be heading down to Florida for the Tallahassee Regional. Starting off, our lock is going to be Team 5472, the Wild Stallions, who was the finalist of the event last year. And our first contender is going to be their alliance partner, Team 108, the Sigma Cats. Next on our contenders is going to be Team 5557, the BB Raiders, who had a pair of finalist appearances last year. And rounding out our contenders is going to be Team 386, Team Voltage, the only winning alliance captain returning to this event. Finally, our dark horse this event will be Team 8324, Team Miko, an open alliance favorite who's built the best robot of their history and is looking to show a double-sided intake can dominate in REEFSCAPE.
Great predictions, guys. Well, let's move on to First in Michigan, where we have Luke, who will be covering our featured event, the Muskong event, as well as the Bellevue event, the Barron Springs event, and the Jackson at Columbia event. Then we'll pass it over to Varsha, who will be covering the Traverse City event and the Wayne State event.
Kicking it off in the Great Lakes Stake, we've got the First in Michigan Muskegon District event. This is a great event every single year. Lots of high energy, lots of great robots. It's a personal favorite of mine. I always look forward to covering it, and I get to be there with the team I mentor myself. So it's a personal favorite for me. But heading on over to our picks, I've got Team 3538 RoboJackets out of Auburn Hills as the lock. They've won an event already this year, winning Ferndale as the first pick of Alliance 1. But more importantly, they've won this specific event back-to-back years. They're looking to do what the Kansas City Chiefs couldn't and pull off a three-peat. But for them to do that, there's some tough robots that they're going to have to contend with. Starting off with our first contender, I've got Team 2075 Enigma Robotics out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. They've won this event previously, but they always have great autons. I feel like Enigma is synonymous with great autons here in Michigan. And with how this year has played out so far strategy-wise, I think Autonomous is going to play a crucial role, and Enigma having a great Auton is going to set them up for success. The second contender is going to be Team 3572 Wavelength. They're a local team in the Muskegon area out of Mona Shores. They won an event this year already too, winning Lake City Week 1 as the captain of the Alliance number 2. However, they've been finalists at this event 4 years in a row. They're looking to finally break that streak and come home with the winning blue banner from this event. The final contender I've got is Team 6090 Wayland Wildcats. They were division finalists at States and Worlds last year, and they always have a super strong first competition. I actually did a little research, and they've never missed the playoffs in the first competition of any season they've competed in, and I see no reason for that streak to end this year. Last but not least, I've got the dark horse Team 8612 Calvin Christian Robotics. They're a younger team, but they've got some great spunk to them, and they've already had several playoff appearances and 2 district finalists awards in just their first 3 years competing. They've also had really strong offensive robots in just those first 3 years, and I don't see any reason why that's going to slow down, and I think they could start off this 4th season with a bit of a shocker. Good luck to all the teams competing at the First in Michigan Muskegon District event. Heading to the First in Michigan Belleville event, I've got the lock as Team 7769 The Crew. For contenders, I've selected Team 86-2 Lightning Robotics, Team 51 Wings of Fire, and Team 247 The Bears. For the dark horse, I've gone with the home team, Team 6615 Bellevillians. They had a great showing at the district events last year before having a bit of a slide at states, but they ultimately still won their division as the second pick of the second alliance. I'm looking for them to show out at their home event and make a splash this year. Good luck to all teams competing at the First in Michigan Belleville event. Heading towards the Michigan-Indiana border, we've got the First in Michigan Berrien Springs event. For the lock, I've selected team 6002 Robotics out of Kalamazoo. They just won Battle Creek, their home event, as the first pick of Alliance 1. For contenders, I'm selecting team 4422 Twisted Angels. The home team, team 4352 Grengineers, and team 4381 Twisted Devils. For the dark horse, I've gone with team 9208 Eddie's Circuits. They had a great showing at this event last year, and I'm looking for them to bounce back after the rough tail end of the season they had last year. So look for them to make a surprise in the playoffs. Good luck to all the teams competing at the First in Michigan Berrien Springs event. Up next, we've got the First in Michigan Jackson District event. For the lock, I've gone with team 3656 Dexter Dreadbots. The contenders, I'm going with team 1023 Bedford Express, team 7197 Mountie Megabots, and team 1025 Impy Warriors. For the dark horse, I've selected team 9312 Nerd Spark. They finished top 10 at all their events prior to states last year and winning Impact at the Macomb District event. And I'm expecting them to start their 2025 campaign off with a spark. Good luck to all the teams competing at the First in Michigan Jackson event.
Coming up north to Traverse City, we have 3767 TC Titans. They blue banner this event 2 years in a row and will be looking for their third consecutive blue banner at this event. However, last season's winning alliance captains, 1711, the Raptors, will be looking to challenge them, especially as a hometown favorite. Other contenders are 3770 Blitz Creek and 3537 Delta Force, who just won at Lake City 2 weeks ago. Lastly, my dark horse pick is 9763 Ithaca Volt Vespits. With only one full season of experience, they made a playoff appearance last week. With that, best of luck to all the teams competing at Traverse City this weekend. Rounding out Michigan, we'll be heading to the Motor City for the Wayne State event. My lock is 8352 Code Gold, a hometown team that led Alliance 6 in last season's playoffs. One strong contender is 8193 the Steel Stingers, who competed at Kettering 2 weeks ago and proved themselves a strong processor bot at this event. Other contenders include 469 Lost Gorillas and 123 Team Cosmos. To finish off, 9618 Tronarchs is my dark horse for this event. As rookies last year, they already have a blue banner to their name. Best of luck to all the teams competing at Wayne State and all across Michigan. Back to you, Angel.
Thanks, guys. Let's move on over to the international stage, where we'll start with Lino, who will be covering the Regional Lyon event, as well as the Regional Brazil event. Then we'll take it on over to James, who will be covering the Ankara Regional, as well as the Shanghai Regional. And finally, we'll pass it on over to Varsha, who will be covering the Ontario Durham College event, as well as the Ontario Humber Polytechnic event.
Surprising to everyone, the Regional Leon, presented by Prepatech, is actually the most stacked event in Mexico, and let me tell you why. For our log, we have 4400 Robotics, who shined brightly in their Week 1 California event with what I would consider the best robot in Mexico right now. For our contenders, we have as a number 1, 3478 Lambot, who will debut the robot at this event. Then as a number 2, we have 4635 Botbusters, the number 1 seed who won Monterrey Regional on Week 1. Finally, as a number 3, we have 6647 Voltec Robotics, who made a surprise run in their Week 1 playoffs. Our dark horse for this event is 2283 Panteras. If they have made the right improvements, they could surprise everyone in this upcoming event. Up next is Regional Brazil, the first of 2 events in Brazil this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the Brazilian teams bring to the season, as this will be their debut event. For our log, we have 1156 Under Control, whose robot reveal showcase a solid design. I expect them to have things under control as they compete for their first event of the season. They were also last year's winners of the Brazil Regional. For contenders, we have number 1, 7565 Obonauticos, who were the co-winners of the Brazil Regional with Under Control. As a number 2 contender, we have 9602 Canantech. And as a number 3 contender, we have 9460 Steel Bulls. Finally, as our dark horse, we have 1860 Alpha Bloods, whose veteran experience could be a key advantage for their first event of the season.
Next up, we'll be heading over to Turkey to talk about the Ankara Regional. Starting us off will be our lock, Pars Robotics Team 6436, a team who made finalists back in 2023 and are looking to replicate their pick-and-place success. Leading our contenders will be Team 8557 Conquera, and following up with Team 6989 Kaiser, who despite an early exit last week is looking to have deeper success with their engineering excellence winning robot. Rounding out our contenders is going to be Team 9233 Luminous Robotics Team, and finally our dark horse is going to be Team 8561 Cartesian Robotics. Cartesian did not have a great 2024, but in 2023 they made a deep run as an Alliance 8 captain, and are looking, just like our favorite, to have great success in pick and place. That's it for Turkey right now. Next up, we're going to head over to Shanghai. Starting us off with our lock is Team 10541 Rookie Sensation Carbon Pulse Robotics. Already having won the Holic Regional, they're looking to continue this regional winning success. Not to be outdone, though, our contenders are starting off with Team 4613, the Barker Redbacks, winners of the Southern Cross Regional, as well as their sister team, Team 8613, the Barker Graybacks, winner of the new Taipei City Regional. Our third contender isn't a regional winner, but is a regional finalist from the Bosphorus Regional. That would be Team 9635 Cyber Rabbit. And rounding out will be our dark horse, Team 8011 Kieran, who has a third place finish at the Holic Regional, but is looking to improve.
For our first Ontario forecast, we'll be heading to the Durham College event. My lock is 4476 Waffles, our 2024 Curie Division winners. This World Division champion team competed at the Newmarket event 2 weeks ago, where they were event finalists. One of our contenders at this event is 5406 Celt X. They were event finalists here last season and will be determined to take home the blue banner this event. Other strong teams to look out for are 4907 Thunderstamps and 5036 the Robo Devils. Finally, my dark horse for this event is 9062 Citrical Circuits, who made a playoff appearance last week. And with that, good luck to all of the teams competing at the Ontario Durham College event this weekend. To round up Ontario, we're heading to the Humber Polytechnic event. My lock is 7558 Alt F4, last week's Centennial College winners as Alliance captains. One of our top contenders is 3161 Chronic Titans, last season's event winners here at Humber Polytechnic. Other strong teams to watch include 4920 Bell River Boltheads, who ranked 10th here last season, and 7520 Team Mindkey, a part of Alliance 4 at Humber last season. Finally, my dark horse is 9262 Humberside Huskies, a rising team that made playoffs at Centennial last week. Best of luck to all of the teams competing at the Humber Polytechnic event and across Ontario. Over to you, Angel.
Thanks, everyone. Now let's head over to the U.S. North, where we have Adam, who will be covering our featured event, the FIN Kokomo event, as well as Dan, who will be covering the Great Northern Regional, and Scott, who will be covering the St. Louis Regional.
Welcome back to the FIN Fam for the Kokomo District event forecast. With 40 teams, including 3 of the 6 finalists from our last event, get ready to see how play has stepped up since week 1. Starting with our lock, it's 1501 Thrust, coming off a dominant performance in Mishawaka. With an EPA of 50.8 and boasting a ranking of 85th in the world, you'll need to keep an eye out to see where they elevate scores to this weekend and how they've improved their already dominant auto. Currently standing with a record of 15-1-1, let's see what contenders they may pair with to break their streak of exactly one banner a year for over a decade. First of our 3 contenders is 4272 Maverick Robotics, who has been showing strong performance in their build thread on Chief Delphi. 4272 is an Indiana Titan, especially in early events where year to year they show good prioritization into auto and driver practice. Add on a deep climb and a very automated driving system, and you could be looking at an incredibly smooth cycler. Next up, we have Team 45, the Technocats. With a full competition under their belt, averaging an EPA of 21 points, alongside additional time to fine-tune, we just might see Technocats upset our lock. Similar to last year, it is very possible we see strong mid-season improvements that allow them to make a great run deep into the playoff bracket, maybe even further than their Match 13 performance at Week 1. Our last, but certainly not least contender, is Team 1741 Red Alert. Featuring a ground intake and coming off a decorated season, I am excited to see their performance this year. Last year, they captained 2 alliances to finalist, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of fresh brisket on the board alongside a consistent auto to make any opposing alliance nervous. Rounding out our forecast, it's our dark horse, 10-0-21 Garen Catholic Golden Gears, a rookie who looks very prepared for their first week 3. Showing a large funnel intake, ability to score on all 4 levels, and a new mechanism to dislodge algae, Golden Gears are certain to be a threat. And for many, a rookie season is one filled with new experiences and exploring FRC, and I want to wish 10-0-21 especially good luck as I go to not only their first event this season, but their first ever. Good luck to all competing, and let's get excited as Dan takes us up to North Dakota for the Great Northern Regional.
Next up is the Great Northern Regional, and as its name suggests, it's certainly up north in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Our lock is going to be 876 Thunder Robotics, but looking to take home the event and qualify for championships themselves are our contenders 3293 Otterbots, 3276 Toolcats, and 2129 Ultraviolet. Our dark horse for this event is going to be 4360 Sputnik. They did not get picked at Northern Lights, but did sneak into the playoffs as a backup spot and win. But I'd expect that they're looking to show the world what they can do week 3. Best of luck to all 54 teams competing this weekend.
This year, 46 teams will be competing in the annual St. Louis Regional. For this event, my lock for the event is going to be Team 27 Rush. Having already competed this year at the First and Mission Kettering No. 1 event, they've already had a finalist appearance and they've had the ability to shake down their robots so far and get some improvements ready for week 3. My contenders for this event are going to be 1706 the Ratchet Rockers, perennial winners out of the St. Louis area. Team 4329, the Lutheran Roboteers, who are just 1 year removed from an appearance on Einstein, and 9401, Midas Mayhem, a rookie team last year who had a very promising start and expect big things from them in the future. Finally, our dark horse for the event is going to be Team 6391, Ursuline Robotics. Good luck to all teams competing.
Thanks, guys. Now let's head over to the U.S. South, where we have Riley, who will be covering our featured event, the First in Texas Manor event, as well as the First in Texas San Antonio event, and the First in Texas Victoria event. Then we'll go to Retchen, who will be covering the Mongolia Regional and the Rocket City Regional.
Howdy, y'all. This is Riley coming to you from Texas, where the weather can't make up its mind. First in Texas has an exciting competition schedule this week, having the first ever triple event weekend. San Antonio will run Thursday through Saturday, Manor Friday through Sunday, and Victoria Saturday through Monday. Yes, an event ending on a Monday. I'll start us off with a forecast of the Fit District Manor event, which is running this year for the first time ever, and the lineup at Manor is incredible. 118 Robonauts Firefly is almost certainly locked into finals with an EPA of 70.5 and a whopping 16.4 Auton EPA. They competed in and were the winning Alliance captain at the Fit District Tomball event in week 1, and were the first pick of Alliance 1 and champions of the Arkansas Regional in week 2. They're ranked 9th worldwide, 5th in the US, and 1st overall in Texas with an overall record of 31-3. Other than 118, there are several contenders for the event win, including 6800 Valor, 6377 Howdy Bots, and 418 Lassa. My first contender is definitely 6800 Valor. Their robot Deadlock competed at the Week 1 Fit Tomball event with a record of 14-3 and an EPA of 52.6, leaving them ranked 5th overall in Texas after winning Tomball with 118. My next contender is 418 Lassa with their 25th season robot, who competed with 6377 Howdy Bots at the Fit District Waco event. They finished out with a record of 10-6 and an EPA of 39, leaving them ranked 14th in Texas, and were the first pick of the second alliance and won the Rising All-Star Award at Waco. Congratulations. My third contender is 6377 Howdy Bots with their robot Siren. They ended their Week 1 event, Fit Waco, with a record of 10-4 as the third alliance captain and achieved an EPA of 39.9, leaving them ranked 14th in Texas. Finally, my dark horse would be 624's Kryptonite's robot Calypso, who also competed at Week 1 in Tomball, and ended as the first pick of the second alliance with a record of 10-8 and an EPA of 30.9, leaving them ranked 25th in Texas. Let's jump to the First in Texas San Antonio event. My pick for the lock at this event would be 5572 Rosbots. And then for contenders, I would look at 2582 Pantherbots, 3481 Bronkbots, and 3679. As for the dark horse, I would look at 8114 Rocketeers due to their upward trend since their rookie year in 2020, and I also may or may not have seen their robot in action. Finally, let's take a look at the First in Texas Victoria District event. My pick for this event would be 1477 as the lock. Looking at contenders, I would take a really strong look at 9128 ItCan Robotics Team Tawasaw and their rookie sister team, 10340 ItCan Girls, as well as 324 Chips. And then I would take a really strong look at 2583 Orange Dynamite for a dark horse as a response to their competitive level at the Waco District event and the fact that I know that they've been working incredibly hard since their last district competition.
Next up, the third annual Magnolia Regional in Laurel, Mississippi is sure to be a good time as 37 teams get to test their mettle on the field. An easy lock for this competition is local powerhouse 8044 Denim Venom, who just had an outstanding performance as finalists at the Arkansas Regional. Top contenders include previous Magnolia winners 3039 Wildcats and 2992 the SS Prometheus, as well as veteran team 364 Fusion. A dark horse contender for this event is 9717 Poltronics. This young team has seen rapid growth and development, so they may be a surprise contender for the top ranks at Magnolia. The Rocket City Regional features a diverse set of teams from many different states. Team 4028 Beak Squad from Cincinnati, Ohio is my lock for the winner of this event. Notable contenders include 2338 Gear It Forward, 325 Respawn Robotics, and 4265 Secret City Wildbots. My dark horse pick for this team is 3468 Magnatech from West Monroe, Louisiana. This team has been working hard this season and has potential to upset this competition.
Thanks, everyone. Let's head on over to our last group of the forecast. We're headed over to the U.S. West, where we have Stanford, who will be covering the Sacramento Regional, as well as the Silicon Valley Regional, the Los Angeles Regional, the Arizona North Regional, and the Utah Regional. Then we'll pass it on to Andre, who will be covering the PNW Bonnie Lake event and the PNW Sundome event.
Coming up this week in NorCal is the Sacramento Regional, featuring some of California's most fearsome powerhouses and a special guest. A good mixture of teams competing in their first or second events will be taken to the field at Pleasant Grove High School in Elk Grove. Last year saw a shocking series of events as 254 and 1678 were separated for playoffs, making for a battle of the win streaks come finals. When the dust finally settled, 1678's 23 regional win streak had come to a close. Let's hope we can see the same amount of action and drama again here for 2025. Our lock for this event, who I expect to win it in convincing fashion, is a team that's taken victory in Sacramento the last 3 years running, and that's 254, the Cheesy Poofs. The 5-time world champions and world championship finalists last year are looking to continue their awe-inspiring performances for the 2025 season. The REEFSCAPE challenger hasn't been revealed yet, but I'm expecting another fantastic robot from the Bay Area team. A ground intake for Coral seems almost a given for them at this point, considering how valuable we've seen those be at other events. And I bet they'll have a ton of other bells and whistles too. We'll just have to see what the Bay Area squad can pull off this year. The first of our contenders, who are looking to pair up with or beat our lock to take home some blue banners of their own, is another legendary team, 1678, the Citrus Circuits. Coming off a dominant performance at the Pinnacles Regional, I expect the eight-time Champs Division winners to impress again on their home turf. Displaying an incredible, effective ground intake, they are nearly impossible to defend as they relentlessly cycle to their reef. Add in fast, efficient algae net scoring and a reliable quick climb, and you have a force to be reckoned with out on the field. Let's see if they can add to their monstrous list of banners this weekend. Our next contender is an unexpected face this far out west, and a special guest to this Sacramento Regional, really trying to upset some of the NorCal powerhouses in attendance. Nevertheless, reigning world champions 4522 Team Scream will be looking to take home a second regional win this year in Sacramento. Their robot is brutally effective with a huge funnel for easy loading of their robot, enabling fast coral cycling. They can also pick up algae off the ground or the reef and score in the net with ease. Finally, their climb is unique, with their entire hopper opening up to allow space for the cage and the chain. I expect great things from this Missouri team, and maybe they can cause a few surprises up north this weekend. Our next contender is a SoCal squad, 7157 Robotics. After an Orange County regional playoff run that ended earlier than they might have wanted, they're looking for redemption at this Week 3 event. They've got a solid foundation when it comes to their robot, with another ground coral intake enabling them to evade defense with ease and take advantage of shore cycle paths. They've also got algae net capabilities and a deep climb. Their main problem with their previous event was reliability, but if they can get that ironed out, they'll definitely be one to watch at Sacramento. Who knows, maybe they can upset the world champion powerhouses in attendance. Finally, our dark horse, who could surprise our locks and contenders out of nowhere, is Team 1671 Buchanan Bird Brains. 2 weeks ago, this Central Valley-based team impressed at the Pinnacles Regional, showing off a WCP competitive concept-style robot that could cycle coral with great efficiency, place algae into the net, and reliably deep climb. With time to improve on their extremely solid foundation of a robot, they'll be a team to watch out for come this weekend. I'm excited to see what they can achieve, and you can bet they'll be a real thorn in the side of our powerhouses. And there, folks, is your featured forecast for the 2025 Sacramento Regional. Best of luck to all the teams competing, and I'm excited to see what'll happen out on the field this weekend. Moving just about 80 miles southeast is this year's edition of the Silicon Valley Regional, where 38 teams will face off at a new venue for this event, Woodside High School. Our lock for this event is World Championship finalist 1323 Madtown Robotics, and they're joined by contenders 5940 Bread, who took 2 regional wins last year, 3045 Gear Gremlins, and 581 Blazing Bulldogs. 581 in particular is looking strong for this event, and if paired up with 1323 could do some serious work out on the field. As we saw in the Pinnacles Regional 2 weeks ago, the robot is world-class with the ability to grab coral from the ground and reliably send algae up into the net, as well as quickly climb. Finally, our dark horse is Team 6619 Gravitech X, who had some sneakily good performances last season. Good luck to all the teams out in Woodside this weekend. And now moving even further south is the Los Angeles Regional, where 44 teams will once again battle it out at the Da Vinci Schools in El Segundo. Coming in as our lock for this event are 9408 Warbots, who were finalists at Orange County 2 weeks ago. They're joined by contenders 4201 the Vitruvian Bots, 2659 Robo Warriors, and 2584 Flame of the West. 2584 had a strong showing at the Port Hueneme Regional in Week 1 with strong algae ability and solid coral cycling. They did have a weakness in that their climb didn't seem to work, but if they can get that going, I believe they'll be a real threat this weekend. Finally, our dark horse for this event is Team 1197 the Torbots. We're hoping to build on a solid 2024 performance. I look forward to seeing what these teams can pull off at LA this year. Moving a state over this year is the Arizona North Regional, where 40 teams will grace the field at Coconino High School in Flagstaff. Coming in as our lock for this event is Team 359 the Hawaiian Kids, who've already picked up a banner at the Canadian Pacific Regional. Their pretty familiar looking robot grabs coral from the ground extremely efficiently, making them really hard to defend during teleop. That, alongside a quick climb, makes this Hawaiian squad a scary opponent out on the field. Joining them are contenders 6995 Nomad, who took victory at the Orange County Regional in Week 1, recent Hall of Fame entrants 2486 Coconuts, and 2-time 2024 regional finalists 6413 Degrees of Freedom. Finally, our dark horse is Team 9501 Sidereal Envoy coming out from Taiwan. Good luck to all the teams competing in Flagstaff this weekend. Last up for the regionals out west is the Utah Regional, with 39 teams looking to take home some banners at the Maverick Arena in West Valley City. Our lock for this regional is Team 987 the High Rollers, who are looking to continue their Einstein-level performance this weekend and add to their impressive banner collection. Our contenders are Team 498 the Cobra Commanders, who picked up a regional win last year, 2122 Team Taters, who took home 2 regional wins last year, and 7426 Pair of Dice Robotics. 7426 looked very strong last weekend at the Ventura Regional with a great climb, quick coral cycling capabilities, and algae net capabilities that were very impressive. If they keep it up, they'll definitely be a team to watch out for at this event. Finally, our dark horse for this event is Team 3006 Red Rock Robotics, who have improved dramatically over the last year and hope to continue that success for 2025. And with that, good luck to all of our friends out in Utah this weekend.
This week in the Pacific Northwest, we have 2 events featuring very strong and high-level teams. Based out of Bonnie Lake, Washington, the Bonnie Lake District event is hosted to 34 teams this weekend. The lock for this event has to be Team 1778 Chill Out, who is currently ranked 10th highest EPA worldwide for their performance at their Week 1 event alone. For our contenders, my picks are Teams 2046 Bare Metal, 948 Newport Robotics Group, and lastly 4469 RAID Artificial Intelligence Division. Moving on to the dark horse for this event, I'm giving this to Team 4089 Stealth Robotics. Stealth, although having a rocky start to their season at their Week 1 event, has had a promising robot which seems to have developed nicely through some clips and videos floating around. Good luck to all teams competing this weekend. Next up, we have the Sun Dome District event hailing from Yakima, Washington. Sun Dome has been known to host teams from all across the district, so this event is a great window into the district championship in the coming weeks. For lock this event, this has to go to Team 955 Control C. 955 won 17-0 at their first district event this season, making them one of 2 teams entering this event with a winner's banner. For contenders, we have Team 2930 Sonic Squirrels, 5468 Chaos Theory, and Team 9450 Velocity Raptors. Finally, for the dark horse at this event, this has to go to Team 1595 the Dragons. 1595 has gone for an interesting event schedule this year, competing weeks 3 and weeks 4. This means that this is the first time we will be seeing the 2017 Touring Division champs all season. Good luck to all teams competing this weekend.
Well, that concludes this episode of FRC Forecast. I hope you enjoyed them as much as we enjoy making these predictions for you. Don't forget that you can participate by picking your own events and your own teams with the FUN FRC Pick'em League. Details on our website, Chief Delphi, or our Discord. Don't forget, submissions due each Wednesday. For now, I'm Angel. You're watching FRC Forecast.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. Build your alliance with so many other FIRST alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information. AndyMark provides superior service with the reliability that teams expect. Check out their sport gearbox and ratchet sport options to their tried and true compliant wheels used by teams all over the world. From mechanical and electrical products to tools and hardware, head on over to andymark.com for your one-stop shop of high quality and affordable solutions.